Well, we have now approached 2 years since Russian forces invaded Ukraine, and the devastating impact of this unnecessary war goes way beyond the battlefield. Children are paying a painstaking price as they've been forced to shelter in basements and underground metro stations just for their safety. This war has wiped out school, playtime with friends, and in far too many cases, taken away a parent. So many of these kids have lost any semblance of real life while surviving amid these air raid alerts from above. We have talked with UNICEF's James Elder dozens of times since this war broke out, as he continues to travel across the country, meeting with families living in bunkers and documenting the war's heavy toll on children and their mental health. Here's a glimpse.
But all this comes at a cost. It comes at a psychological cost. The psychological scars from this war, from the shelters, from the having to constantly seek safety, they're very real, and they deepen every day that this war goes on.
James joins me once again from Kyiv. James, so good to see you. And just tell me why you thought it to be so important to actually document all these meetings with families like you've been doing for the past 2 years.
Well, I just think that the attention around the world after 2 years, of course, Kira, it starts to fade, and it's so important to remember that those people on the front line, and they are the frontline responders, the mums, the child psychologists. It's so important to try and remind people around the world for whom, Ukrainians need their support, of what they are continuing to endure. Now, they endure it almost in silence, so it's up to journalists and it's up to UNICEF to try and share those stories, because they have hit a point of exhaustion.
Talk about some of the most painful changes that you have seen in these children from being there on the ground in 2022 to now.
I think a lot of it comes around anguish and fear. Interestingly, too, when the younger ones go down to a basement, they very quickly gravitate towards their parents or a grandparent, but it's not as you imagine. It's not actually to go and get their support. It's because they finally started seeing their parents or grandparents cracking. They see that psychological fatigue, and they, as little children, naturally want to go and try and help that grandparent. So you see that kind of reversal, and that in turn brings great guilt in parents who feel they're not doing enough for their children. They are heroic in what they're doing, of course.
One more question, if you don't mind, James. Just what have you been able to do to expand your operations there all throughout the country? And what have you been able to do specifically to help with just the mental health of these kids?
Yeah, happily a huge amount. Some of the best things I saw, Kira, these youth centres around the country, particularly on front lines. They are warm, they are safe. Children learn journalism, they do theatre, they draw, they learn to DJ, they get to socialise, children being able to be with each other. Children here, many of them have not gone to school for 4 years. 2 years of COVID, 2 years of war. So we do a lot of education, a lot of online work, huge amounts of what's called mine risk education, Kira. This is now the most mined country on the planet. When we talk about children's childhood being stolen, it's not just the bunkers and the basements and the lack of seeing friends. It's as spring comes, they can't go to the forests and the fields because of landmines. So a huge amount of work like that has scaled up. Training teachers, training psychologists, it's ongoing, and they are the front line, and they're very grateful for the support, but they know this is not over.
Well, UNICEF continues to be such a gift there on the front lines, especially when it comes to the children. James Elder, it's always great to see you. Appreciate your work.
Thanks so much, Kira.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.